This is Abia COVID-19 update.
Abia COVID-19 update.
There are 6,868 active cases of coronavirus. In Nigeria, 60,825 samples have been tested. Now, in Abia State, I know you're expecting to hear this. We have a development, and that will be our talking point this morning on the program. There was a press release from the Office of the Honorable Commissioner for Information yesterday, Chief John Okiyekal, which has generated a lot of reactions, both positive and negative. Now, I'm going to read from the press release, and I'm quoting from the press release this morning. Following the outcome of tests conducted on close family members of the late member of the State Executive Council and member of the Interministerial Committee on COVID-19, Abia State Governor Dr. Okezie Ikpeazu has directed all members of the committee and those of the ESCOs who might have recently come in contact with the late commissioner to immediately undergo COVID-19 tests and isolate themselves thereafter pending the outcome of the test. Governor Ikpeazu, who is still in mourning, will also subject himself to all other necessary protocols as he has directed his ESCO members, including the deputy governor, to do so. We wish to call on all Abians to continue to observe relevant regulations issued by the government and health authorities to stem the spread of the disease. End of quote. So we're getting details of this particular press release this morning from the Honorable Commissioner for Information, who signed that press release, and he's joining us live on the phone this morning. I understand that he's also in isolation to ensure that he's staying safe after he got tested yesterday. Good morning to you, Honorable Commissioner.
Good morning, Michael.
Okay, glad to have you join us this morning. Can you update on the latest directive on the members of the COVID-19 Interministerial Committee to proceed on isolation?
Yes, as I speak with you, commissioners, members of the COVID-19 committee, and indeed the Deputy Governor himself, Right Honorable Saudo Kochukwu, they have all presented themselves. Their samples have been collected, and as soon as tested, the results will be made public appropriately.
So, as it stands now, what prompted that particular press release? It has generated a whole lot of reactions, both positive and negative. So, we want to get details.
It came out of the sense of responsibility of Governor Okezie Victor Ikpeazu, and indeed his transparency inclination. The governor at all times believed that the people should always be informed, and truthfully so, on all developments, and then it is his responsibility as the governor of the state to protect life and properties of the people of Abia State. We received some information regarding tests conducted on some close family members of our late colleague, may his soul rest in peace. And the governor, out of abundance of caution, decided that we need to ensure that everyone is safe in Abia, and whoever is down with COVID-19, we're able to nurse the person back to good health.
So the statement, that statement I read just before we connected to you, emanated from your office, and the statement referred to tests carried out on the family of the late Commissioner for Environment. So the question that is on the lips of many Abians is whether the late Commissioner died of COVID-19.
We do not have the scientific basis to say yes to that question or no to the question. The reason is that for us to make that statement, we must have access to either autopsy report or the result of tests conducted on him as a person. As far as we are aware, he died from complications of high blood pressure. And indeed, we are aware that it is also possible that something triggered the high blood pressure, whether from fumes of chemicals that he handled or even from COVID-19. But we do not have the scientific basis to make the assertion that people expect us to do. But over time, we have been made aware of COVID-19 test results from very close family members, and we now believe that out of abundance of caution, we must take measures to protect the rest of Abia State, and that includes testing all those who work closely with him, including those of us in the Interministerial Committee on COVID-19, members of the State Executive Council, and of course, ordinarily, the governor leads by example, so he's following the same protocols along with his deputy. So if anyone expects us to state that he died of COVID-19, my response to that person is to say that we do not have the scientific basis to make that assertion.
So as it stands now, how many index cases have been identified?
Your use of the word index needs to be corrected, Michael.
Okay.
When you say index, you mean the first cases, and we had only 2 index cases, the 71-year-old and 72-year-old. Outside that, every other one is a case, not an index again. So you need to correct that aspect. So far, we have 10 cases, confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Abia State. Those involved are in isolation, but we have also discharged 5 patients from Amachara facility and 2 patients from FMC. So you have 3, but we are expecting more because we expect some announcements to be made by NCDC, possibly today or tomorrow. As usual, we get front-loaded with the information, and based on the information we have, we are doing the needful, which is to bring in those involved into quick isolation. And the appropriate statement to be released in acknowledgement after NDDC must have made their own announcement. So officially, we have 10 confirmed COVID-19 cases in Abia State.
Okay.
We have 5 persons discharged from isolation in Amachara and 2 persons discharged from isolation in FMC, meaning that we have only 3 of the 10 in isolation, but we are bringing in new persons into isolation based on latest information we received from NCD.
So
I want to use this opportunity to...
Just a moment, Honorable Commissioner. It means some tests came back positive.
Exactly. And it was on the basis of that we have, the governor directed that we take these measures that have been taken to protect the generality of our people. And I can assure you that those involved are in isolation, and more will come in. And at the end of the day, we should be able by tomorrow to update you on exactly the number of persons we now have in isolation. Let me also say that our brother Emmanuel Ononi, who is among those who is in isolation right now, along with 2 nurses that treated that treated one of our cases in Aba. And like I said before, we still will update you on more that have come into isolation at the end of today.
We also want to know, you said the governor is in isolation, and also the deputy governor, including members of the COVID-19 Interministerial Committee in Abia State. Now, we want to know, how are they faring? Abians want to know, how are they faring this morning?
All members of Abia State Executive Council are in isolation. All of them, including the deputy governor and the rest of us. In fact, personally, my sample was submitted yesterday. Others are submitting this morning, and we will all await the result. If the result for anyone turns negative, the person will resume work, but continue to take necessary precautions to protect himself, his family, and the people of Abia State. And everyone is good. We are all strong. We are all working from home. Of course, in this digital environment, you can do a lot. As you are aware, by talking to you, I'm doing my work. And as you can also see, I am strong. My voice is strong. The same applies to all my colleagues and the governor and the deputy governor. We are all strong. And we are hopeful that the results will turn out negative. But if it does not turn out negative for any of us, COVID-19 is not a death sentence. This state has the facilities to nurse every person back to good health. And we are not excessively worried. The only worry we have is for the need to protect the people of Abia State. And I want to say that the governor has once more demonstrated responsibility. The governor has demonstrated transparency. The governor led from the front row, and he took the test alongside every other person. That is to show you that we have a governor that walks the talk and not just talk the talk.
Okay, we want to know also how soon are we getting the result of those tested, talking about the members of the State Executive Council?
For instance, I was tested yesterday, and you can expect that either this evening or tomorrow, the result will come out, and you can be sure that I will let the whole world know. If it is positive, I will let you know. If it is negative, I will let you know. The same will apply to my colleagues. They are just, many of them are just being tested this morning, or their samples are being collected this morning, which means that later today or at most tomorrow morning, we will send the samples to the appropriate NCDC lab for proper analysis and testing. So you can expect that by Wednesday, most of the results would have been in, and the good people of Abia State will be informed appropriately.
So I also want to know, Honorable Commissioner, some persons are saying that the latest development, despite the latest development, they still do not believe that COVID-19 is real. And of course, they are saying that it is a way for the government to score some cheap point to say it's to say the least. Some of the things on the lips of some Abians after I interviewed some of them is that the government is not being truthful about this, and in fact they do not believe that some commissioners are presently on isolation, and if they are on isolation, it is for them to maneuver some things. These are some of the fallacies on the street of Abia State.
Well, you said it's fallacious, and that's the correct characterization. I am speaking to you from the commissioner's quarters, where members of the State Executive Council are submitting their samples right now. And as my personal friend, I will share pictures with you for your eyes only. Now, if people believe we will go through this, the pains I went through yesterday just to score a point, let God reward that person for saying that. Because the sample collection process is not what I want to go through again in my life. And then you can imagine the emotional pressure since that yesterday. And somebody is telling me that I'm scoring cheap political points. May God reward that person appropriately. For Christ's sake, COVID-19 is real. It is important that we drum that message into the heads of our people. I was hoping that your colleague would have been able to speak to those who were in isolation, but over time, I think I can forward their numbers. If any of them agree to speak to you, let them speak as common Abians so that you will know that this thing is real. Anyone who has any doubt is doing so at his or her own risk. The government has discharged our responsibility to the people, responsibility of transparency, responsibility of prompt and adequate information, responsibility of care and love for the people over and above self. We have used the same parameter for the general public on the members of the State Executive Council, without exception. The same thing we have always demanded of Abians is what we have done with members of the State Executive Council, because we believe in the equality of every human being. We believe that democracy is government of the people, for the people, by the people. And Governor Ikpeazu will not be part and parcel of any scheme to mislead Abians. If you understand the quality of man we elected as our governor, certain things should not even be debated. So I will not go into an elaborate debate on whether COVID-19 is real or fake. For me, I know that it is real, and I am taking measures to protect myself and my family. And the governor himself is leading by example. We are all following his example. And I want to assure the good people of Abia State that whatever is necessary at this time to be done to protect the people, this government will continue to do it. We are working from home. The permanent secretaries are in place. The governance structure is intact. And there is nothing to worry about. The governor continues to engage within and outside. As you are aware, even last weekend he attended the meeting of Nigeria's Governors Forum last week, and then Southeast Governors via Zoom. That will continue to happen. Technology made it very easy for us to run government without having any hiccup at this time. I have received documents from my office requiring attention this morning. I have discharged my duties. I am on this phone. That means that we are doing our jobs individually and collectively. And I want to assure the people of Abia State that this is God's own state. God is with every single Abian.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner, for information, for speaking to us this morning on Abia State COVID-19 update. And hopefully your results will come back negative and you will be back out soon.
If it comes out positive, I will be nursed back to life. I am not afraid.
All right. That's some positive assurance there. Thank you very much for speaking to us this morning.
This is Abia COVID-19 update.
Abia COVID-19 update.